So pace is something that boards really do pay a lot of attention to. You move too slow and you risk no longer being relevant. You move too fast and it might result in fragility of the business.
So pace would be a boardroom conversation together with the CEO. And I would say it's one area where the board and the CEO needs very tight collaboration.
There's a lot of stakeholders who have a lot of opinions about how a business should be run, and it's very easy as a CEO or as a board, I think, to be influenced by all of that. So you need to do more of this and more of this and more of this.
So what we're really looking for CEOs to do is to be able to adjust the speeds at which they operate and be fit for purpose, right? To align the right type of speed with the right situation that they're dealing with.
You play in reality as it stands today, but you've got to look ahead and do your best to be able to forecast what are those drivers that you have to be able to deliver on growth and performance.
And as a CEO, I think it's important to really focus on what matters and not get distracted by the noise. It doesn't mean that you don't have stakeholders that has to be satisfied, but the idea that we can solve all problems at the same time is not there. And with the pace that we're having in all the developments, geopolitics, technology, and in the business in general, I think there is an element of staying focused and also respecting that the organization's pace might be different than your own pace, and certainly different than the technology pace. And it's a difficult one because as a CEO, you have great ambitions of where you want to take a business, and you hear that everybody around you are talking about all the cool things they're doing with AI, and perhaps there's a little bit of sense of FOMO. I think reality is that you got to go with the right pace for the business, so you're assured that the business and your people follow you and not try to do more. At the same time, you've got to be ambitious, but I think a lot of people are perhaps at the risk of running a little bit too far ahead of an organization that struggles to cope.
Think about the board as looking at the discipline of having this pace, but the CEO needs to be like the compass of the organization. And really the roles is threefold, right? I mean, if you look at it, it's setting the tempo and also institutionalizing the cadence across the enterprise, I would say. And at the end of the day, making sure that the communication to all teams, all stakeholders is the right one.
At the same time, you've got to make sure that your team understands that this is extremely important. If growth has to come from Asia, leaders, regionally or locally, must recognize that there is a significant opportunity for them. And therefore the skills that they bring to the table, which is constantly learning how to improve and do better, making sure that they are first to market, making sure that they find tactics and strategies to be able to get ahead of competition. All of those things are essential, and it cannot be taken for granted that we know it all at any point in time. There is a constant need to learn, unlearn, relearn to be able to deliver on that growth. But there has to be this realization that you've got to be first. You've got to get ahead as quickly as possible. So a lot of thinking, the back-end thinking that has to happen to be able to do that is important. You've got to keep a keen eye on the future.